This video was originally created on December 13th, 2020, and this video is going to be about the number 13 and some of the magic that he used against you, well, against us, to kind of keep us away from things that are important, to keep us locked in a certain way of thinking. And I just want to give you something to think about. I really want to give you something to think about. Um, but yeah, peace, love, and light. And I'm going to continue this video in a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about is this thing that I saw that inspired this, and it was a product that somebody was selling online. I don't want to put them like on blast or anything like that, but that's what inspired this this video, the topic of this video, and it was basically fornicating under the consent of the king 12. And if you don't know, that's an acronym for the word that I'm not really trying to say right now. But the reason why that inspired this is because what the goal of things like this is to get you to fear and hate certain things. And 12 is a very important number to our growth, to our existence, because we all exist under the zodiac. 12 appeals to the zodiac. It also appeals to age. And when you get to the age of 12, you are tested, because you are also tested. And it's a part of a bigger test, the test of the zodiac. Do you rise above, or will you rise above the beast, the zodiac, Zion? Will you make it into heaven, or will you continue to go through the many different dimensions under the number 13? And the reason why they use the term, or use the word fornicating under consent of the king to basically trap you is because that signifies you not rising above a certain that signifies you not rising above the beast, because you're still in your beast state. You're still dealing with issues of the flesh, like you're still controlled by the flesh. And they get you to hate certain things. They get you to hate law, because that's what it essentially is. You hating law because 12 represents the police. It represents cops. It represents order. It represents law, and they use that as a symbol to get you to hate that, because they have especially like with like the Black Lives Matter movement, they have people hating the police and trying to I can't remember the exact words they use, but they try to get people to go against the police or the boys in blue. And if you don't know from watching my videos, I think I've said it in a couple of videos that it's a color game as well. The game that we're playing is a very simple game, but it's complex if you don't know the rules. And one of the rules is to know and understand colors, and to notice the use of colors. And one of the colors that they put on police is the color blue. So they got you hating the color blue as well as hating the police, which represents law and order, which represents also throat chakra. So there's no expression. There's no free expression. And there's no connection to the spiritual world. There's no connection that is above the earthly plane, which is represented by the heart in this sense, because that's what the word heart is, the word earth rearranged. But it's a lot of heavy content. I don't know if I'll be able to like break everything down, but I want to give like a brief conversation about it. And I want to give a brief conversation about it. But I want to say that, another thing is, the reason why this is important is because the number 12 represents the police, it represents law and order, but the number 13 represents government. And since the number 13 represents government, and people fear the number 13, and they just had, like, this year is a very interesting year. We had so much going on this year. Like, this was a big test for your vision, like, to see how you view the world, to see if you view the world as someone who is a minor or someone who is a of the majority thinking. But it's not in the sense of age technically. It's in the sense of your views, your I don't want to say necessarily mind state, because it's a little bit above the mind, because the mind is the matrix. It's like this. It's what the matrix is. It's how we are controlled through the matrix, is through the mind, because the mind is connected to the zodiac, and so it's a little bit higher than the mind. But it's a big test year, because this is also an election year. And what did they have people doing? They still have people voting for their president, the person that basically governs them, because that's what the government represents. It represents mind control, someone that controls your mind for you, opposed to you controlling your mind. Excuse me. This is why people are not really on the level of being a king or having that crown. They're trying to get you not to accept the fact that you have a crown, or to acknowledge the fact that you have a crown, or to allow you to be crowned, because this is the time where you should be being crowned. This is the time where you should be raising up and rising to sit on your throne, and to get your crown, to wear your crown proudly. Not in the sense of pride, but in the sense that you earned your right to be called king, and you deserved to be called king because of all the things that you've been through, and all the things that you've learned, and the way that you carry yourself, the way that you govern yourself, and the way that you treat other people, and the way that you treat the animals of the earth, the way that you treat your body, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you carry yourself in the world. All these things signify whether or not you've learned your lessons. And something I wanted to say, and I've been thinking about it, like, even like right before I was thinking about making this video, was one of the hardest things about being woke, one of the hardest things about being conscious, is not convincing other people that you are conscious or that they are asleep. The hardest thing about being conscious, the hardest thing about being woke, is realizing that you're asleep, living in a world that is basically an illusion that appears to be more real than it is, in the sense that you're living in a dream through the memories of the people that lucid dream, if that makes sense, or can lucid dream, because there are certain people that can lucid dream and see you in this dream world and know that you are know that you are waking up, or know that you are conscious in the dream, but you may not be aware of the depth of the dream. You may not be aware of the overall reality or the overall truth of what this really is. And that's one of the hardest things to be in, like, to know that you are awake in a dream, but not know how deep in the dream you actually are. That's one of the hardest things about being conscious, about being woke. But I don't think a lot of people are even on that level. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, and that goes with the idea of being under a certain level of in a certain level of like the dimensions I mentioned yesterday in the 1212 video was basically it's connected to this video because you're still in the dimensions in between worlds, and the only way to get to that other side is to like really start to wake up and really start to observe and really start to really come into and be yourself, because this is the time where you start to really come alive. You start to really be active. You start to live in a way that you haven't been living before. You start to realize that that was a dream, or this is a dream, and then you start to really wake up and you start to really be alive. You start to really see the world for what it really is, or what it's really supposed to be, and you're no longer living in the illusion. You're no longer living in the darkness. You're finally in the light. And that's what I think that's what also the solstice, which is going to be on 11/11, which is going to be on the 21st. That's what I think that's going to signify in a major way, because that's when the sun sits still in the sky for 3 days straight, and that's right before the Christmas holidays, which is of course a pagan holiday. One of my Sagittarius friends will tell you that gladly, but yeah, and I think that's what the Sephiroth is actually a part of, because I can definitely see why it was important for me to get that information around Halloween when I was getting it, but I think it's going to expand into something bigger around that time. I just don't know what yet. And I'm really anxious to see it. Not in the sense of impatience, 12/12, but in the sense of excitement, because I feel like it's going to be something really, really good. And I can see why people start really celebrating Christmas early, like they start putting up the lights around Halloween, because that is connected to Christmas in some way, shape, or form. Like one of the ways that they kind of tell you that it's connected is they give you the Christmas Carol, and they give you all different type of like variations of it. And I want to share one of them, which is the one with Bill Murray. I think it's called Scrooged, and I think I'm going to do a separate video on that one. But it's some very important symbols in there that connect to even the Matrix, and I really want to share that information. So that's probably going to be the next video in this little series that I'm doing right here. But with that being said, this concludes this part of the series, and I want to say peace, love, and light. I love you. Thank you, and I hope that you have a great day.